little Cointree message here have an allusion to Dashmas, which
Merry Dashmas, yeah.
it's funny because this is the Dashmas episode, and then on the first, there's going to be the rigging in the new year one. So that'll be fun too. Yeah. Anyway, looks like we're live. Hey everyone. This is going to be a very special episode. Let me hit the quick intro and we'll get right into it. Hey everyone, welcome to the Dash Podcast as per usual, except this time we have a very special guest. It's freeze-framed Father Christmas. How's it going there, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Is my screen frozen?
Oh, there we go. It unfroze. No, it is
Oh, I
not.
do. Okay.
It's not Father Christmas as it turns out. It's not even Santa Claus. It is Mark Stadashi Mason, who oddly coordinated his shirt and his Santa hat. It really goes well. So he is here to talk about all kinds of cool, awesome stuff. Also, a good friend of the podcast. Also, former co-host for the most of the 161 episodes that this thing has been through. So, how's it going, Mark? How's it there in the North Pole where you're at?
Oh, fantastic. I'm feeling festive, optimistic as always about Dash. Merry Dashmas, everyone. I guess this is the Christmas episode. It's great to be back on the podcast with you, Joel. And there's so much been going on in Dash. So thank you for asking me and inviting me on. I know we tried to get me on a few weeks before, but there's been so much stuff going on in Dash. I really hope those that are watching, they're going to take a lot away from this, because in terms of marketing, outreach, and things going on behind the scenes, there's a lot to report on. So I hope we can cram as much of that into this podcast as possible.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So let me just draw everyone's attention real quick to this thing down here. There's the live chat, the live crypto super chat. If you go to cointr.ee/the desert links, you can go leave a little message there and it'll pop up live. Just don't say any swears or anything too bad like that. And then I'll pop it up live. And so there is the YouTube live chat, which is where Leon White just said, "Nice hat, Mark." And Hilawi just said, "Woot," which is great. But I reserve the right to ignore any questions in that if they're not, accompanied by a little bit of coin, which is how you get into the live super chat. So that's the bottom feeder question. If I run out of stuff, maybe I'll do that. But anyway, just don't be a cheapskate, guys. It's Christmas, for crying out loud. So anyway, we're talking about, give me a quick rundown of what's been going on.
Yeah, so I have a whole big shopping list, right? I may not have been totally nice this year, but it's been a good year for Dash. So no lump of coal for Dash this year. I would like to update the community on lots of the marketing initiatives and PR that's been going on within Dash. There's actually 2 media advertising campaigns going on right now. We could probably jump straight in to discuss that. One is with Brave browser, and then another one is using native ads. But I think as you are for decentralization and you're utilizing multiple social media platforms, we can probably discuss why I chose Brave browser and some of the metrics as well involved in that.
Yeah, well, I am using Brave browser. So hopefully I should see some if they pop up. And so really quick, before you even get to that, what kind of stuff are you advertising on these?
Right. Okay. So the ad campaigns at the moment are promoting the Dash platform video series with Amanda B. Johnson, the 5-part video series, and it's linking directly to the playlist on YouTube. There is a Dash platform landing page on dash.org that is being created right now, which will also host the videos. So we'll probably will see some more organic views come through on those. And that should be in time for the Dash platform testnet launch. So I can shift gears and then use that in the future. So that's another thing to look forward to.
Yeah. So Brave, before I'm just guessing. So because I use Brave, it's basically like Chrome, but if you hate Google, and protects your privacy on all kinds of stuff. And I've been wanting to put a little referral link out there to promote stuff, but they're cheap bastards and they don't like people who don't do KYC like me. And also they ended their referral program anyway. So Brave, naughty people, I'm still going to shill for you because it's a great it's a great browser. And so because it's like a crypto tokenized sort of a browser, that in my imagination makes it extremely like a fertile ground for advertising to Dash people because it's just crypto people. It's already crypto people who are willing to use a separate. They aren't just speculating. That are willing to use a separate product to actually kind of walk the walk to a certain degree. I'd imagine that went into your thinking, but what else went into it?
Yeah, so essentially, I've noticed there's been increased sentiment from the community for more marketing and outreach. I really noticed this ramped up in the community a few months ago when Fernando and Ryan Taylor went on, I think it was the Cardano Foundation podcast. And the
I thought you were going to
hosts
say
of,
the Kardashians, and I was like, I missed that.
and essentially the host recalled the Dash advert in-air campaign that we did, and you were saying how effective that was. And I've really noticed an increase in outreach. And of course, with the recent Dash price appreciation, I always promised that I would use additional surplus funds towards marketing initiatives. And within Dash, this has been an ongoing conversation that I really should give a shout out to Fernando, because I really feel like this has been like 5-6 months worth of research, because it's not easy in the cryptocurrency space. Once the newsroom started, I gained access to the official Dash social media, but advertising via traditional channels on Facebook, YouTube, and even Twitter right now, we have something that we're appealing, which hasn't been resolved on the official Dash account. So it doesn't really leave a lot of options. So I've been exploring lots of options. But of course, when it always comes down to marketing and advertising, it always comes down to some very core questions, and it's understanding who your target market is. We initially had a meeting with Brave browser 6 months ago. And although I downloaded the browser, admittedly, I wasn't a power user by any means. But over that 6 months, it has had tremendous growth. And now I feel like I'm going to be shilling Brave browser. But they actually have over 20 million users right now. 6 million of those are based in the United States. 90% of those 20 million users are in the crypto space. 25%, so 5 million, have subscribed to what is known as the BAT token. So if you enable the ads, you'll get $5 to $10 worth of BAT per month. Mm-hmm. And what's interesting about their solution is a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space are using ad blockers by default, right? Because they're privacy advocates and they're switched on. There was a great article by Forbes. I think it came out last year, actually. And it really opened up my eyes, because when I was exploring banner ads, or display ads as we would refer to them, on many publications, outlets, the truth is, if you're trying to reach the core demographic of cryptocurrency users, you're already alienating yourself, because they're just not showing up when you've got people using Brave browser and even Dash. So, and of course, even if they watch YouTube videos on Brave, the ads don't play at the beginning of the videos, right?
Yeah.
The problem that I had with Brave, and I did go back and forth with them for a long time, is that for those that haven't used it, in terms of advertising, it's different, right? Because you may be used to YouTube playing the video in the beginning, or like a banner ad on the side. They have push kind of like notifications in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And you have to get incredibly creative, because you only get a 60 character letter limitation to put it up. So it's not too intrusive. But yeah, considering the other clientele that use it in the crypto industry space, you're talking about Nexo, BlockFi, Crypto.com. It really is the who's who, and they're gaining much better results in terms of click-through rate, CPM, CPC. And I'm currently negotiated a special price for CPC right now.
Yeah.
So the current campaign is only focusing on the United Kingdom and the United States at the moment. And I'm split testing 5 different messages. Nice. So I'm happy to share those.
Well, let me hit a couple of experiences myself from using Brave, basically for this whole year, pretty much. And first off, the ad model of you can run adverts and then you actually get paid for watching them. It's like a part revenue share of that. It's interesting because, I mean, in this whole, like, what is that meme of, like, I'm something of a whatever myself? I'm something of a bat whale myself. No, I have about 120 bat accrued over this year from this, just watching ads and stuff like that. And I mean, that's not a ton of money, but just by being paid by seeing those, all of a sudden I don't have this. I noticed myself, I don't have a negative connotation when I see an ad. I might not be interested, but I'm not like, get out of here, I hate that. It's just like, oh, what a surprise. Oh, this is nice. And so I have a feeling that will really help out. And also I've noticed that there's been it's been, of course, quite a few good crypto companies, but I've gotten ads for the New York Times as well, which is kind of what I would call the opposite end of the spectrum. It's like the belly of the beast. It's like the snake's head. It's not, it's kind of the opposite of everything. So, no offense if anyone here likes the New York Times, but the fact is, if you get kind of some of the largest names in the old analog world, and then you get, of course, the crypto world, it's like you can tell it's like going for big time things.
Absolutely. Yeah. And advertising really is difficult in the crypto space right now. You have the influencer side. There's the inbound and outbound PR, which I guess we can talk about that a bit later on, because that really influenced the inception of the newsroom. Things that we used to do in the past just don't work. Outbound PR is dead in crypto. There you go. There's a headline for you. I can elaborate on that now briefly if you want, because there may be some people scratching their head about, like, what the hell is he talking about, inbound, outbound? But, and I think you'll relate to this, Joel. A few years ago in the crypto space, before the Ethereum, DeFi space, before the stable coins, pre 2017 highs in December, in terms of like noise in the crypto space, things were done. You could achieve good coverage if you were a well-known coin, and Dash has always been up there and regarded highly. And what I mean by that is, you could used to do like what I would call pay to play. You could pay for a newswire and you could expect for that to be picked up. Now there is just a deep sea of noise, and that doesn't work anymore. And this is what outbound PR really means. It's intrusive, which means it could be ads that are displaying, or in terms of PR, you're interrupting someone asking for coverage. So if you're a journalist, their inbox that they dread to look at every day just has a sea of red, a sea of articles. And of course, if you're a crypto project, you're really excited about an announcement. But if you're only really putting out 2-3 really big milestone achievements per month, you're like, oh, this is it. But the reality is, for journalists, and I know you will relate to this as a former Cointelegraph journalist, that it just doesn't carry any weight anymore. And the thing is, because it's so unfamiliar, because if you've got like, hi, I'm Bob from PR something, it's not personable. It's like cookie cutter. It just doesn't work anymore. There is just so much noise out there. In terms to get coverage, you have to do inbound. You have to build strategic partnerships, friendships, built on trust and credibility. And actually using PR firms actually really, really holds you back. Because what that tells crypto publications in what we want to achieve is they are dependent on paying their staff and employees purely from ad revenue, right? And some journalists that do not get paid enough, in my opinion, but it's based on that model. So if you are a crypto project using the PR firm, and then they're just some random nobody with no reputation in the space, and then they're reaching out to a publication editorial team or journalists for coverage, then from their point of view, unless you're Bitcoin or Ethereum that has a large network effect in the total coin market cap, they're like, well, if you can pay for a PR firm, why can't you pay for a press release on our platform, right? It defeats the purpose. So really now there is so much noise out there in this space. Journalists are only interested in organic content, meaning fresh quotes and everything that comes with it, which is bog standard, because if you were an editor at a publication and you was paying journalists to write content, you would want to make sure that they had exclusives and everything as well. So a number of the top crypto publications now, I'll leave your imagination to guess who they are. They're actually using plagiarism checkers and everything for quotes and stuff as well, because they want everything to be unique. And I feel that's something that we learn in Dashforce because we went through that evolution
Yeah. Pun
of this
intended.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to talk more about that. I don't know if that's of real interest to
Well,
people watching, but if you're interested in inbound, outbound PR, I can talk a lot more about it.
yeah. So as far as like the whole PR getting attention thing, this has been one of those fascinating things where I have first off, a couple weeks ago, I did some video where I examined Dash proposals, governance proposals, and things like that, and just found, how they tended to go because, a lot of times people go with Dash Core Group because they're, the senior entity in the ecosystem. And I found that like one area that's been consistent conflict has been around PR. From like the early days, like Evan was getting his proposals destroyed about PR, and then like finally they get Waxman PR in, and then there's like fights around that, and then that gets out. It's just like the one thing that, if I could say a fair criticism of Dash, which has been, it's kind of like a no shit to anyone who's in the ecosystem, but for maybe new people listening, has been Dash has struggled with attention, with getting attention on the project. And the actual like development, like a lot of other projects, like for example, Bitcoin Cash gets a lot of attention, and it gets a lot of like negative attention too. It gets a lot of flame wars. It gets a lot of hard forks. Gets a lot of like other problems. And like, I guess it's like the price you pay in a karmic sort of a way, right? The price you pay for having just a network that runs smooth as butter, fixing problems before other people have it. And it doesn't mean like, developmental perfection necessarily, but like compared to everyone else, really good. But the price you pay is like, it's like the Faustian deal. You gotta take like, oh, it's like you rub the genie's lamp, like, you have the wish of, I want like a project that doesn't get attacked, that doesn't have all these problems. It's like, your wish is granted, but no one will know about it.
The magic of the internet. While you was talking, I just opened up the crypto app, which is a very popular portfolio application for cryptocurrency. It has over 1 million downloads just on Android alone, and I think it's similar on iOS. I just opened up the app, and one of the native ads I'm running has Amanda on there.
Yeah.
Like I really did think, I thought I was going to have to scroll through, but the reason why I bring this up, this is another one. So I've told you banner ads don't really work for targeting the crypto audience because of pop-up blockers, but most people aren't running pop-up blockers on their mobile phone. So I'm actually running push notifications through mobile applications that have high concentrations of crypto investors. So there's currently 2 campaigns going on, the crypto app and also CoinStats right now. So, and I'm split testing, running multiple campaigns. But the thing is, you really have to know your audience. And with the Brave one, it's interesting because people have made that conscious decision, like you, that respect privacy and individual sovereignty, to use Brave. And if they want to opt in for those adverts, be rewarded. And the people at Brave, I'm not trying to blow my own trumpet, but they sent me their case studies from eToro and I think it was BlockFi. And I saw adverts from Grayscale. And like I said, because it's only text adverts, you've only got 60 characters to play with. So you have to get really creative. And
just like those Altucher ads or whatever. Bitcoin genius says he's all in again. And like,
to be honest, they were even more generic than that. So I wanted to tap into the user and resonate, because if they subscribe, they're going to get these things popping up every now and then. And I have to give a shout out to some Dash community members that I reached out to for feedback. I had like 60 to 80 different variations, and I had to shortlist which ones resonated more. So I actually found Brave browser users within the Dash community. So I have to give a shout out to Halawe and Michael Lewis from the diff. So some of the popular ones that are doing well is, why you use Brave, here's why you should use Dash. So it taps right into it. You wanted freedom with your browser, why not your money? And get ready for Dash platform, here's what you need to know. And then there's the traditional Amanda one. And to be honest, funny enough, even though it's a text advert, it's performing the best. And
it's hilarious.
It's probably not going to surprise anyone else, but got Dash. Amanda thinks you'd be a lot cooler if you did. And the results. The results.
let me also interject on that. Well, first, before that, we did get a live chat. Is this finally working? Yes. Yes, it is. Anyway, um, just the I don't like. I'm thinking myself from a perspective of someone who doesn't know who the hell this Amanda person is, but it just says got dash. It's like, do I? I don't know. Do like either you don't know what it is or you do know what it is, but then you're like, oh, why is people talking about that? Then Amanda thinks it's a lot cooler if you did, and it's like if you know Amanda, you already got dash. Let's be honest. But if you're like, who's this Amanda person? And then you click because you want to know, like, why? Who's this Amanda person who wants to know? You got their attention. What was that? The Django Unchained quote of, you have my curiosity and now you have my attention.
Yeah, I mean, the blunt reality is the majority of the crypto space is still largely male dominated, and it's largely males between 18 and 34. That's the biggest market cap. So, like, sorry, target
I'm being
audience
quickly
area.
aged out of that demographic.
So, I think the results don't lie. I believe in data, and yeah, the stats speak for themselves. So yeah, it's performing well, but there are other things as well because a lot of times we have a lot of abbreviations in Dash, and we just expect people to know them. Another one that performed well was want crypto to go mainstream. Take a look at the future. Because when it comes to marketing a Dash platform, it's a bit vague. It doesn't really explain. And but for those that have been to the dash.org/dashpay landing page to sign up to the alpha program, we'll see that we're starting to really push the social payments tagline. Welcome to the world of social payments, because people are already accustomed to social networks. So we're basically putting social networks, things that they used to with their profiles, in with money, right? So we're giving that PayPal experience, but with social media as well. So
Yeah, which kind of hits on this thought I had just now about the other thing to sort of promote. Of course, social payments is good, and by the way, is a validation of this. Handcash is doing that. So the Bitcoin SV wallet in their little app with their little handles that again, it's not decentralized, but whatever. They have payment reaction. So if I sent you $5 worth of BSV, you could react like thumbs up or party hat to the transaction in the wallet, and it would say, oh, the other person reacted to that. And it's like at first you're thinking like, yeah, so what? But then you're thinking like, oh, it's like a message, right? There's communication. It's not just crypto out into the void. You're sending it to a handle at, Stay Dashy on BSV. I get it, you're not there, but whatever. I'm not there right now anymore after they moved to BSV, but that's a different story. And then you get an actual reaction to it, and it's just like, oh, this is cool. It's like a social aspect, and I wouldn't say they're necessarily ahead of the curve because Dash is already on the same wavelength, but it is a validation. And one thing that might be interesting, the other thing I like is decentralized digital identities, because no one has that except Dash, really. I mean, I'd have to actually do my research, so maybe scratch that. Maybe I'm an idiot and there are a bunch of projects working on that. But that might be a good lead in for a good sort of a clickbait type thing of are you going to miss out on DDI? And people are like, what's that? And then they click, and then they're like, decentralized digital identity is the next frontier of this, and then all these things about identity theft and stuff like that, and then KYC, and then like you get into that and just be like, oh, what's DDI? I want to learn about DDI, and then yeah. Anyway, we'll ramble, but whatever.
No, I think it's great. I think that's great feedback. I hope our mobile team is listening, because I think in terms of evoking emotions from using apps, I know from CFI apps I have downloaded where I stake and I get push notifications every time I earn rewards. It's a great feeling. I actually saw a test demo of an application the other day that actually had like a animated pig, like as a piggy bank. And every time that you got rewards, it was kind of like an animated GIF, but it had like the shades come down on the pig and its little legs went, and it looks so cool. And it's just little things like that. It
Yeah.
makes it fun and exciting. But yeah, it releases those endorphins that just make you feel good, because you're taking that action and you're getting that response, and that reaction is so important.
Yeah, and just all those little things, and that's one thing that think like Dash is supposed to be payments, right? That's the thing. The entire reason it was created. It's supposed to be a payment network, like a currency. But just those extra little things that people get, like, oh wow, I sent money, but money is never going to be sexy on its own. It's just other things like, oh, I got, for example, when I just got $1 in Dash in this, live chat thingy here. That was cool. And, things like are like, oh, I could just pay you this quickly. That was cool. But the social aspects are interesting, which is why there's quite a few dApps that are being developed for Dash platform right now, which involve the social aspect. There's a social media dApp. There's another one that, I will see if we get going, which could add a cool new front end to maybe the video front. And I just saw today they have a working demo of a private encrypted messenger using Dash usernames. And so like these things are all starting to come together. And like once you got your little, you use your little Dash username and then just send encrypted chats back and forth. And then you could just pay people at the same time. And then you can go like, shit post on Twitter or whatever, all in the same little thing. That's really going to get people excited. It's not going to be just like, oh yeah, use my stupid little blockchain. It's like, oh, now I'm part of a cool little club. And then is when we need the memes overdrive.
I'm really happy that you referenced the community devs in Dash platform. For those that are active in the Dash Talk Discord at staydashu.com, got to plug that. They would have seen community dev ReadMe made a comment, and he's feeling more optimistic than ever. And he made a statement that got a lot of proof of emoji, got a lot of emoji reactions. And he was basically informing the network that there's lots of renewed interest in Dash, but also developers exploring what you can and cannot do with platform. And they're joining to be a part of that process, which is great because this is exactly what we want to do. It is a journey. We need to find out what we can and can't do. And some of the projects going on right now blew me away this week. In fact, this weekend, I'm pitching an article on a project that's being worked on at the moment. But I guess really the main takeaway is that it's been so successful, and I have to tip my hat to Andy Freer as well with the Dash Platform Incubator. It's been so successful that my understanding is all the bounty prizes for not just dApp creation and tools and stuff as well has been taken. Not just this cycle, but into the next month as well. So that's testament to all the great stuff that's going on. And for me, the data contract side of Dash platform was always most interesting. What's possible? What isn't? People were talking about what's possible with tokens. What can you store on the blockchain? Well, this project that an article will be coming out next week, interview, I really think is going to impress people. I've been having chats with the Dash Core Group development team in the run-up to the testnet launch. And I don't even think they're aware of some of the cool stuff going on. I had a great chat with Dana the other day, and we got so excited. I literally had to get off the call and do 10 push-ups. I was just like, this is, I mean, without sounding too hype, but like, I didn't expect this level, us to get this far at this stage. And I'm not saying everything is solved, things have been working out, but there is like a working prototype. And I don't want to say too much because it's not my place to say, but next week there is going to be a community dev video going out, which will showcase this and an article to support that. So I want this to go out before Christmas. So that is something to look forward to. And yeah, storing things on the Dash blockchain, and there's a graphical user interface to explore it. With a lot of community dev projects, sometimes things can look a bit rustic, bare bones, and not aesthetically pleasing. But this dev has got it going on. So yeah, exciting times ahead.
Yeah, so this all makes me think of one of these. This is one of those things where, for the longest time, the excuse for, Dash isn't getting all this attention is, well, we're just not promoting it a lot until Evolution's out because we just want to finished product to do that kind of stuff. And I think obviously in hindsight, we can see that sort of attitude is probably not the smartest. However, there is a grain of truth to that whole thing where like I'm trying to think about what can I show that will wow people. And it's like, oh, you can live off crypto like me. Like I've been showing that. And it just, some cases, oh, it's faster. Beep. It's just the payment that I can get a beep bit refill faster. Okay. There's a couple things like that. Or, you know, like, oh, wow, look, it's just secure. And like, But like, I'm trying to think like, what can I do to get people wowed? Like, oh, this is cool. And one thing that did get people wowed in the past, which sounds like an interesting segue perhaps, but after I finish this point is when basically private send was able to be, mixing was able to be done on non-full nodes and things like that. And I know the Lamassu guys got on board, and now every single Lamassu ATM, as far as I'm aware, by default has private send mixing. So you get a private send transaction out when you buy from that ATM. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's cool stuff. But other than that, the excitement, like when I'm trying to think of what will get people going, all has to do with username payments, username contact list payments. Will just, because I use crypto around here, instead of just copy paste address, sent it, is it confirmed, who cares, we all trust each other kind of a thing. Where Dash is just, you know, it's easy to use, it works, but doesn't shine. But then when you get to, I don't know, send me an address anymore, I just send it to you. Boom, just send it to you. Like, hey, do you pay, like, for example, we have a whole bunch of, we have a meat plan from a farm local to here. And, you know, every time we have to pay them, and sometimes someone else picks it up. It's like, hey, did you remember to pay what's her face again? And I'm like, oh, okay. Can you have her send me an address? All right, all right, here we go. That little point, if it's just, I remembered it, like I remember to pay her, I just go and pay her, right? At that, and then when I start thinking about, because social media sucks, and people are getting screwed by social media all the time, and a social media platform thing that can be integrated with Dash is a really good thing. But I touched on the whole privacy thing. You had some things.
I can give a bit of forward guidance on the Dash platform testnet launch plans in terms of communications, if you like.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the current state of play is Amanda B. Johnson will be doing a Dash Talk video interview with Dana on the 23rd of December. Dana is in the process, as we speak right now, finalizing the blog post. That blog post, then I will have some forward guidance on, so I can reach out to media and hopefully get some good coverage on the release. I've kind of roped in Dana and Bob to do like a 1-minute video for social media on the day of the launch as well, which is great. Yeah, I want to get more. I mean,
do we have the date yet, or is it just like it's going to be one of the later days, and just we'll have to find out when it happens?
Yeah, we don't have a solid date right now, but I can tell you, for the last 2 weeks, I've been part of 2 Dash platform developer meetings, and everyone is just working around the clock. I mean, it's very stressful, and I'm not a developer myself, but I think in terms when it comes to bugs and security and stuff as well, like you want to put something out that's really robust, and there's always concerns and everything else, but like the team is working so incredibly hard. So I can assure you the blog post and video interview will be out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
And like there's going to be something like a lot of the guys are working over Christmas. You know, we're all talking about who's going to take off holiday, and to be honest with you, I've not been part of too many Dash Core Group developer meetings, but it was very insightful because you realize there's all these different teams inside. So even though we're all familiar with them, even from the project management side and the tools, it's very interesting to see, because even when it comes to platform, you've got the Dash Core development team, right? Then you've got the platform devs, and then you've got the Dash Pay devs, the mobile team, and then they've all got to sync up, right? And so it's really interesting to see their project management, their workflow, and I was very honored to be brought in to help with the marketing and communications. And yeah, I really think like we're in our stride right now, and I'm hopeful. Now the thing is with the platform development, they're focused on like the protocol layer and everything, right? Excluding the Dash Pay app and everything else. So I think Andy Freer once said it best to me, is like the scope of Dash Core Group is, is this, the foundation, but Dash Platform, the scope is just as wide as the horizon. So this is why the community, dev social media, ramping up, and the incubator is just so great and worthwhile. And I really have high hopes for the future. And like I said, like this is like a learning process, and this is the exciting time for developers because they're becoming a part of the journey. And people are brainstorming in the channel like all these amazing ideas, and some ideas that you can't really utilize on Ethereum, but like seeing what can work on Dash. And when it comes to actually storing things on chain, it's really interesting. So I'm very optimistic, and I've had some ideas for myself. I was talking to my partner the other day about whether she had let me put like the marriage certificate on the blockchain. I mean, that's been done before in Hash, but in terms of like photocopy and things like this, this is a different ballpark. I mean, this is really leveling up.
Yeah. Really quick, hit a couple things. Oops, actually put it out in the live chat. So first off, Isaac Barrett says, I miss the Mason Valenzuela duo. Well, I do too, but here we are. Jack said, any big events you guys are looking forward to? I think you're talking about physical events. I don't think there's many planned just because of these uncertain times and stuff. Of course, depending on where you are in the world, that's a whole thorny thing, but eventually when there are events. And we did get another live super chat. Great to see the two of you again talking as in past DFN times. Cheers, guys, and Merry Christmas, Splowk21. You're the best, Splowk. You're a top, you know what? You're a great dude. Thanks for that. And Esra says, good evening, everyone.
Hey, wow, the whole team's here. Yeah, this is great.
I feel the holiday spirits. Well, not until later, but whatever.
Yeah, there's just so much good stuff going on right now. So the question about what events I'm looking forward to, well, COVID has been, 2020 was the year of social distancing. 2021 is the year of social payments. So, of course, the biggest event I'm looking forward to next year is the Dash Platform mainnet launch. And I would like to take this opportunity, if I may, to give a bit of forward guidance on that, because about 3 weeks ago, there was a Trust Protector meeting where there was the re-election of the Dash Core Group board. And we spoke about a few things about putting perhaps like term limits and things like this. But the real exciting, juicy stuff is with regard to the mainnet launch, because the way things are looking right now, it would see that like we're probably going to be in still this COVID situation potentially. So we need to plan accordingly for that. And I'm kind of taking the lead on that for now and exploring different opportunities. And I'd love to get feedback from the community on their ideas. I'm exploring opportunities in terms of distribution and how best to be done, looking at examples. But what I want to make the community aware of is that we only have really like a handful of cycles to put money aside. So there is a lot of momentum in the community right now to ramp up marketing and outreach efforts. So in the coming cycles, there will be proposals put forward just to put money in a war chest in preparation to the mainnet launch. And this would be funds purely for that. And Ryan Taylor and Glenn Austin have kindly given me the nod, because hopefully these sums will be quite substantial, and Dash Core Group will keep hold of the funds for me, and Glenn's kindly offered to do that. So that's great. So people can expect to do that, because we need to start putting money in from the treasury and start preparing.
Now, there's a couple of things that would be very... So when we're talking about all this stuff that didn't work, like the beginning of this podcast was basically saying, oh, all the old PR ways didn't work. And something that still works is trust and authenticity. People trust each other, their friends, their peers, and, authentic kind of representations. And so, first off, I noticed that, the things that always get passed around are a real person putting stuff on Twitter about their experience with a thing. And I know a bunch of people have been sharing their Dash whiskey sets that they've gotten from that lovely gentleman over there in Belarus. So that's already a cool thing. I noticed that the Latin America AstroTurf days are over. You know, when everyone is just like, oh, I got a payment, you bought someone for Venezuelan nano and this, and like no one cares anymore. Like I hate to say it because that's something that I feel like Dash took more seriously than any project, as in seriously, not as an AstroTurf, but as a real thing. And I feel that unfortunately it's so played that now people are, yeah, whatever, Venezuela, that's old news. And it's almost like it's not real people. It's like you're paying, underprivileged people to just like pose with your stupid product to pretend like you're helping them. That's kind of the feeling that I'm getting about that. What works is authentic use. And so anytime someone says, I just stacked so many sats with Lolly or Fold app or whatever the other thing they're using, or, Bit Refill, seamless, blah, blah, blah. Like, but by the way, shout out to Bit Refill, make an account, code DCN, I get some money too. Yay. Anyway, I just had to sneak that in there. But basically, the Dash community really kind of sucks about posting stuff that they're from them that they're doing with Dash. Like, for example, and I did this all the time in the past. Like, whenever I bought something, hey, I bought something with Dash, great, yeah. But it can't just be me, right? It's got to be everyone. Like, I just paid everyone. I mean, first off, if you like this stuff, you should be using it, right? Because that's what it's for. Otherwise, it's just like, a Bitcoin that didn't pump as much in the last couple of years. It's like, why does it matter if you're not actually using it? So you should be using it, and I bet you are. And if you are using it, document it, brag about it, pretend like you're excited about it, which you actually are. But just like anytime anyone uses, like, literally, you see almost all the Bitcoin Cash transactions that take place. They happen on chain and on Twitter, all of them, pretty much. Like every once in a while, it's like, I bought a thing, I sent a thing, and then you look at like the transaction count, which is like 2/3 of what Dash is at right now, or something. It's been that way for a while. It's like Dash is clearly being used a lot more, but there isn't that whole like individual I'm using it kind of a thing, and so people forget about it. So you need to start reporting on that kind of stuff.
I see what you're doing there. It's a good segue into the next bit.
Well,
I agree with you that the community is our greatest asset and tool in terms of outreach. And I would like to just say that even in terms of outreach and PR, guerrilla marketing and mobilizing the community to be the megaphone of Dash is something that's incredibly instrumental in our success. And we need to provide tools to do that. And I would like to give a shout out to some of the Dash community members, because there are some very dedicated people in the community. I'd like to give a personal shout out to Foxtrot, who's absolutely been killing it on Twitter recently. Yeah. Been doing a tremendous job. And this is what kind of really inspired me, because I had a lot of great feedback from the community. Once the newsroom came into place, people started to notice these Dashy character animations on the official Dash channel, which got a lot of engagements and is good. And while that is all well and good, for me to do that, that's just me. But if we can, mobilize the community to post and share everything else. Not everyone is a GIF animation graphics guru, but what we can do is mobilize it. And this is a real pain point in Dash, because if you look at other communities, this is coming from someone that's probably made like 10,000 like Dash featured images for articles and stuff over the years. But like, when you look at other communities, and not just from the memes aspect, but to graphics and outreach, it really became obvious to me within our team meetings that we needed to address this. So this was a conversation I had very early on with Amanda and Dan in the newsroom team to see like, how can we really assess this? And I noticed you have to look at the tools that people are using. If you go to Giphy, for example, people use reactions. And Giphy is integrated into Twitter on the GIF option. We even use it in Discord, right? Mm-hmm. And we had literally no Dash presence there. So this was really important for me. So here's a little tidbit update for the community. If you go to giphy.com/dashpay, this week the account for DashPay that I set up got approved. Nice. Because when you go to Giphy and you search for things, you think when you upload them, they're going to show in the search automatically. but you have to actually be approved as an artist or a brand for the tags to actually work in the search. So right now there is just the GIFs from the Dashie animation, but I'm going to flesh that out a little bit. So now when people search, for Dash Pay or Digital Cash or Amanda, they're going to get that. So on Twitter, Discord, and also as well, that enables people to take those animations and post them on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, wherever they want, and to mobilize them. But that's not enough, Joel.
Yeah.
That's not enough. So
keep ranting, because for some reason my extra monitor isn't working, and I got to fix that. So I'm looking, instead of just looking over here at the screen, the other screen like I could, I want to fix it so it looks better. But if it doesn't, it doesn't. So this is a great opportunity for you to go do the good old-fashioned Mark Mason special and just ramble and jump up and down and scream and maybe get yelled at. But go for it.
Absolutely. Happy to do so. So taking inspiration from Foxtrot and others on Twitter reaching out, I realized that, okay, let's give people the tools to mobilize them to make even more content. So if it's a chart with a new masternode all-time high, or transactions are high, or active wallets are up, let's give them the tools to actually create drag and drop images easily to share on social media. So I really have to give credit to Dan in my team, Dan Sessoms, absolute legend. And for those that don't know, he's the animator in our team that helps with the videos. And he creates the Dashie character animations. And I guess there's a story behind that, why we chose that, but that's another conversation. And essentially, we've created what I've dubbed as a sticker set. And why this podcast is going on right now, salute to Strophy from Dashcore Group. They are being uploaded to the Dash.org brand guidelines assets page. So I believe that's going to be underneath the art tab. If that's not active now, it'll be active in the next few hours. And there is going to be a whole host of what I'm calling sticker graphics that are PNG scalable that you can just add to any images. If you've been following the Dash social media, you would notice that some of the recent instant send announcements where I'm using the Dash coin and megaphone, that is one of those stickers. But that's not where it ends, because although I'm calling them stickers, I'm anticipating people that can use them as drag and drop. But there's extra additional value we can get from this. So from these stickers, and this is only just the beginning, there are going to be a lot more created. There's going to be a Telegram sticker set as well. And of course, they're actually perfect for Telegram emotes, for emojis to be utilized and stuff as well. So I'm really hoping the community take these and then create their images and get as much out there on social media as possible.
Yes, I'll definitely run with those. I should also point out that sometimes I feel like, personally, as a personal opinion, that there's been too much of the little dancey man on like official announcements and stuff. But that could just be, I could be completely wrong. But do not ignore the value of little fun things like that. Because, for example, do you know the little Bitcoin roller coaster guy?
Yes.
How much play has that received? I mean, seriously, that thing's been everywhere. And I know the guy who did it. It's a guy who lives a couple towns over from me. He's a local New Hampshire Free Stater guy. And he just did this little doodle of like the roller coaster back in like the early days before anyone cared about it. And now it's like immortalized. And so like the hodl meme from just some guy losing his crap over some price drop while he's drinking too much and just smashes it, like those things become immortalized. And so, yeah, all the little Dashie gifts, all the things here, there, everywhere. Yeah, that's all good.
It's brand awareness. And in the early days, we spoke about character creation because we noticed, I think Decred has a stakey character and everything else. And although we're all accustomed and familiar with the D logo and the rebranding, it's really echoing that. We even joked about creating like a 3D model of Amanda because there's all kinds of cool things you can do now with like audio recognition and AI to make things work. But really, we have to make the D significant. And there are a lot of publications like...
You heard it here first. We have to make the D significant.
Yeah. That have like... People are just familiar with coins because where Bitcoin has that effect, there's the network effect. There are so many articles utilizing that character. So really, this is the best way. So I call it the Dashie character. because I think that's the best way forward. And I think the engagement on social media doesn't lie. Once again, we have to be a data metrics thing, and it has to be fun and engaging. So so far, so good. But yeah, everything, as I said, everything is optics, and we have to just keep beating that message out and getting it out there. And there's been some really interesting things. So initially, earlier on, I said there's like a more increased momentum and request for marketing outreach, and I mentioned about that airline ad campaign.
Okay, before we jump into that, we started to get ahead. So we already got a super chat that I didn't even get a chance to read because another one came after that. So this one, the last one was, I wanted to give a big thanks to Joel and Mark for allowing the alternate MNO plan to see the light of day. Cheers to you both. I have no idea who that could be. Some random person. Well, thank you very much. Now this one. Can't wait for the Telegram sticker set from Anonymous. Thank you, anonymous person who might dox themselves in the chat, but I'll still call you Anonymous. All right. Anyway, keep going about the stuff.
This is a community initiative, and we want to create assets that you're going to use and utilize. So although we have a separate Discord for our newsroom where we brainstorm, I think maybe I might create a dedicated channel on the Dash Talk Discord. So once you actually see these assets and sticker sets, because a lot of them are generic and there are a lot still more in the works that have been, we actually, Dan, bless him, he made some really cool like 3D mock-ups and everything, but when you scale them down to like the emoji side, he's actually like recreating them, like hand drawing them and doing the outlines so they pop more. So credit where it's due. But yeah, I think about creating a channel so people can actually suggest ideas, like tell us what you would want to see and what you want to utilize, whether it's a Dashi coin sitting on a rocket or waving their fist in the air. Tell us.
There's a lot of those I can imagine that are probably not ever going to see the light of day on the official Dash website. I'm just thinking a bunch of them with like joints and little pixel glasses and stuff.
Funnily enough, that hasn't been requested yet. I mean,
well, it has now.
I've had a few from Dash Core Group requested today after they saw the sticker set. So actually, I should give kudos to Fernando. This is something that's been in the work for a few months as well. We've been building those up, revising them, and Strophy kindly today, as I said, has been uploading them, and everyone has like a mountain of work right now behind the scenes, and I really didn't expect them to go up this soon. So I'm sincerely thankful, and I really hope as a kind of an early Christmas present we can get this going. And yeah, literally, I need to
present.
I need to create the Telegram sticker set because I'm still waiting for a few more assets. But I do think the emoticons for Discord and stuff, I think will get a lot of replay value. But for me, essentially, it's not about me; it's about the community. You know, we're nothing without the community. Our greatest asset is the community. So it's up to you to use these images. If you see something that you don't like or see something that missing that you would like to see, let us know.
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to think. It's got to be for, obviously, price thingies are obviously going to be great because everyone just gets excited on the price. But I'd also, like, Dash's comparative advantage is not always going to be price. Its comparative advantage is it's fast, it gets there in a flash. So there should be some kind of a speed and some kind of a security evoking thing that's kind of funny. Like, obviously just like the dash D with the line and a bunch of other little background lines like moving like speed kind of thing. Wee, like a little animated just speedy dash, which even though it's not super funny, it's just basic. You need one of those.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have like a speed in D for which we've promoted for FastPass. And the great thing is our partners have started to utilize this as well. So you'll see more often than not that I tag exchanges and everything else. So over the last few months, when we have press releases or announcements of competitions from partners, it initially started off with Toros all the way back then when they were launching the crypto credit card in Mexico. But we've been creating media assets for them to post on Dash Media. And for those that have noticed, there's been a steady uptick. There is renewed interest in Dash. I truly do believe that. And actually on the investor front as well. Of course, people think that the price of Dash is going up because of the correlation with Bitcoin. But for those that do follow me on Twitter will see that I posted a Blockfolio insights graphic, which shows people actually following Dash the project to get the project updates, and it's getting close to 200,000. But like literally in the last month, we've had close to 5,000 new followers, and those are all new investors. So that interest that speaks leaps and bounds, and of course the follower count on Twitter has gone up as well. So these are all good positive metrics.
Yeah. Wow. Well, it looks like we just got quite the nice little super chat here. Thanks for putting this together, Joel. Nice to see you're both doing well. I'm still recovering from the Quadriga event. Big things coming 2021 all around. Anonymous person. Thank you very much, Anonymous. You just made my Christmas. And I see that immortalized big grin on Mark's face. Apparently you made his as well. I was not Excellent. At the Quadriga event, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I need to give I need to update everyone on the video front. What's going on with the newsroom. Yes. I have fantastic feedback on the Dash platform video series, but there's actually a new video series in the works now. So if you don't follow the Dash proposal system, this will be news to you. If not, here's an update for you. It's a work in progress, but here's an update for you nonetheless. So the new video series is called How Dash Fixed It, and it focuses on 4 key concepts. And for those that also follow my Twitter account, I did a survey recently, which got close to 1,000 respondents, just under. And basically, it's like, what are the biggest crypto? What is the biggest barrier to crypto adoption today? And there was 4 options to choose from. There was high fees, long confirmation times, contentious hard forks, and general usability.
I remember that Twitter poll, more or less.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. And surprisingly for me, because clearly the results are going to be slightly skewed because I'm in Dash and my followers are crypto followers. So, but 67% voted for general usability, and I generally thought it was going to be high fees or long confirmation times. So it just shows you that Dash is on the right track. But the reason why I mentioned that survey is this video series focuses on each 4 of those concepts and talks about how Dash has tackled those issues and how we're resolving them. So those 4 videos have actually been recorded. Episode 1 now is in the final animation cut, because once we get those videos from Amanda, who's fantastic, I have to say, not just on the screen, but writing scripts and stuff as well. She's a fantastic writer. But like Dan as well, the animator, that's where it gets difficult. Then we come in, edit the videos, do the storyboard, the animation, and there's so many variations. But episode 1 right now, I'm hoping to be done next week. I'm kind of deciding whether to wait to mid-January to launch all 4 at the same time, or like trickle them out towards the end of December into January. So there'll be 4 videos. So they're recorded, but it's just the animation process right now. So they're in production, but they're not quite ready to go live yet. And in addition to that, there will be 5 more videos on the Dash FastPass education front. Joel will be very familiar with this already.
Oh, yeah.
But Amanda has also recorded 5 videos for the Dash FastPass educational video series, which will help supplement the articles that you've been seeing that have been going out on the dash.org FastPass educational section. And I believe these videos are going to be embedded into these articles as well. And they'll be hosted on the main Dash YouTube channel. And they will cover a variety of subjects. And the purpose of these articles is to really highlight our partners, but features within Dash. So there's a recent article that went out about staking, for example, and we used Whitebit for that. And we're trying to utilize the growth hacking aspect, where they will then syndicate that to their followers and open up and get people interested in Dash from their side. So I'm looking forward to that, but I don't anticipate those FastPass videos to go up until January either. So that's something to look forward to.
Yeah, this is obviously it's kind of like an all hands on deck kind of thing. Everyone's cranking out a bunch of cool stuff. This is people always complain as long as they can't see like usernames. Why don't I see the username, the evolution contact list, whatever? And I have to say, so I've been taking a personal. I've been looking around for all kinds of stuff, right? I'm always learning. I'm always researching. But I have noticed that I've been taking a specific look into different naming systems, username systems. So I interviewed the Handcash guy on all the stuff that BSV does with that. I interviewed the ENS guy on how Ethereum name serves and unstoppable domains and things like that tend to work. And I also interviewed what I think is the most direct Dash competitor, which is FIO, or Foundation for Inter Wallet Operability. And I haven't published that out. Maybe I'll do it in about a week or so. But that one, and eventually I'll get someone from Dash as well, because I really want to know how these things work and the competitive advantage. And a lot of parallel thinking for sure. But Dash is onto something extra cool, I think. And I think it will be pretty obvious once, because like the Dash Pay wallet, which also I've been testing the alpha for, months now, and it's getting better all the time. And my little niggly annoying suggestions are getting implemented, which is great. And, it's a lot of fun. And I really feel like when this hits mainnet, this is just my personal opinion. And of course, there's a lot of extra promotion that's coming around before then and up till then. But I think that some sort of an in-flight media campaign resurrecting that, or other thing that will be seen by the general public, so when a crypto person sees that, they'll actually tweet about it. It's not for the people seeing the ad. It's for the people who see the ad and report about it that then gets the buzz. That's good. Then I really think that we need every crypto YouTuber, which oddly enough is where most crypto people get their trusted information, which is a little bizarre, but hey, I'll take it. If people want to trust me, every single one gets hit up to do some sort of a promo code thingy, where affiliate advertising thing, where they can get their new Dash username and sign up to a bunch of different apps, like all in the packet. So just everyone knows, everyone who watches crypto YouTube, which is every crypto person, knows they can get their username, and they can get their little apps and all that kind of stuff. And some kind of a big ongoing Dash giveaway for people who post themselves actually using their new username wallet, and not in a way where it can be gamed, or where it's just like everyone who posts a video of them using this gets so much, because then there's going to be people just trying to farm that. But where if you post this thing and you have the hashtag here, the hashtag whatever it is, you get a chance to win something or other. And so then you get that. So I think those three things, in addition to all this other stuff, really just defibrillator, whoa, wakes the whole crypto universe back up to the fact that, Dash is back in a big way. I don't know what you think about that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're living in interesting times, and the Dash community, I feel like with the price rise and everything, it's great, and I know emotions are running high, but I'm always slightly a little bit, skeptical towards the end of year out. But with regards to the Dash Pay app, I just want to add to what you were just saying. So there's actually an ongoing PR campaign that I'm running right now, which you're familiar with Joel as well. Mm-hmm. And this is really a series of free articles that serve as a call to action, with different headlines, taglines, but essentially the bottom line is it's a call to action to get people to sign up to the Dash Pay Alpha program. And what I would like to communicate to the viewers and listeners is that if you have not gone to dash.org/dashpay and signed up to the Alpha program, please do so. I think there's about 200 participants at the moment, but trust me, it's worthwhile. It really is enlightening, because you get email updates from Brian, and he's telling you the changes and the revisions and updates and improvements, and you actually see in the journey, and they're listening to the feedback, and you're actually seeing how this all come together. So, you don't have to be like a security expert or a developer to download this app and have a look at it. And every feedback is extremely vital. But for me, really, the biggest point is not actually just seeing it and seeing the usernames. It's actually the email updates again, which I think on average is probably about 2 a week. But just seeing how all these improvements are being integrated is part of the story. So be a part of the journey. If you've not downloaded that yet, please do so. And really, you're going to get first mover advantage, because when we do go to mainnet, guess what? You're going to get an email first. So, if you haven't done so, you've been told. Definitely, it's really, really worthwhile.
Yeah. We did just get another live chat thingy here from our buddy Kodaks, anonymous Kodaks, whatever. It's not $69, but here's another tip for getting Mark's beard on here. Yes.
Yeah, it's not great, is it? I do apologize.
Yeah, people have been roasting you in the live chat over it, but it's a humble beginning, right?
Yes, possibly. We'll see if it lasts.
Yes. So I'm trying to think of what else.
Oh, I have so much to talk about. So,
Yeah.
there are two things I guess that are going on. I can't really talk too much about that one, but I guess it might be of interest to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, one, there was actually a kind of internal MNO meeting today with Stakehound to talk about the kind of like an early access process into
Yeah.
a program, and to get like positive feedback on about how we're going to launch, and just generally answer some questions on the custody, the insurance, the onboarding process, what you can do, because there's a lot of people in Dash that aren't familiar with DeFi. So even Uniswap and the liquidity side of things, it can be a bit confusing. So that happened this morning. But in terms, for me, in the newsroom today, the big thing is about 12 days ago, Dash Core Group reached out to the South Korea regulations. So those that do follow the crypto publications will see that there's been a bit of noise about Dash and private send. Once again, this happens all the time. And it seems, throughout each week now, that I'm increasingly working with Omar and Glenn a lot more on the regulation side. But anyway, prior to the email that we sent them back last week, we tried to email them, get on the phone, and they haven't been the most responsive, because apparently they're inundated with messages. So we wanted to communicate to not only the exchanges but the Korean community, because historically the Korean won has played a really pivotal role in Dash. In fact, in the run-up in 2017, South Korea actually added a tremendous amount of volume, for those that are around that can remember. So we wanted to give guidance to the community about what is going on, and also like a nod to the exchanges. BitHarm, still has, supports Dash, so don't panic. We're still there, but there are some exchanges that that it kind of actually gave us the heads up. So we've tried to engage them. So today, a newswire went out, because engaging in terms of South Korea is not like the Western world, because their crypto publications, they don't really use Twitter and Facebook. They don't even use the Google search engine, right? So I basically worked with Glenn and Omar, and I saw the open letter, and we basically created an article, and we've kind of doing like a media campaign right now. A newswire, funnily enough, as I was talking about them earlier, went out, and there were a number of journalists. So I've seen about like 8 different links going up. So you're probably going to start seeing something pop up fairly soon on the official Dash social media, probably after this, for me sharing like an article to give context. You're probably going to have to use Google Translate to read it. But the bottom line is, for those of you that follow Dash on the regulation side, because it was only 2 weeks ago, I think I did an outreach campaign about the Shapeshift delisting, which really focused on the private send angle from Dash. And there was about 3 or 4 articles that I worked with Dash Core Group, but I really think the best one was the Crypto Daily exclusive interview with Glenn Austin, which really covered the global outlook for Dash in terms of regulations and compliance. And of course, as I said, bottom line is we highlight the chain analysis reports, Perkins and Coie, the Crypto Council ranking. So if you're already familiar, there's going to be nothing surprising in this open letter, but it's just really educating their community and also their exchanges about the truth of the matter with credible resources. And we have a solid track record of reaching out to regulators. It's always an education issue, and I think people are really aware of this. And that's why the conversation really came up. Should we consider renaming private send? And this is kind of like an ongoing debate, both internal and within the community. And I would love feedback on this, but I have to tell you my personal feelings on this. I I'm increasingly involved in business development, probably more so than communications and marketing, but they often go hand in hand, right?
Yeah, of
But
course.
like I see so much time, resources, energy being spent on educating regulators and saying the same old thing over and over again. And it's causing so many problems, especially when there are language barriers involved, whether, we're reaching out to Japan, South Korea. It's, things often get lost in translation. And it really is proving quite problematic. And for me, I'd rather focus our time and energy and treasury resources on things that are really going to make a difference. So trying to have the language barrier and explain to a regulator that private send is, in terms of CoinJoin, poses no greater risk than Bitcoin. And they're like, but it's called private send, doesn't really help our efforts. So in
Yeah.
terms of explaining,
And
focusing on the technology itself
yeah, and
really helps.
that's a really prickly issue. And I have to say it like that because it seems to be one of the biggest things that has held Dash back in a lot of ways. At the same time, it's the entire reason Dash came to be, or came to that anyone cared about it, and it's an absolute essential for anyone, for like myself. Like for example, if there was no privacy on Dash, I would, or no, if there's nothing like that, I would probably be using another coin. I'd probably get like put half my Dash into Zcash and start using that as in tandem, for example. Like it for a lot of people, it's a non-starter. Just kind of get rid of the issue, kind of like Smart Cash did when they're technically broke. But the rebrand, the name of it, like is something that I would absolutely love to explore changing at any point, as long as it doesn't just make things worse or more confusing or something like that. Now, obviously for in the beginning, I don't remember if it was ever called CoinJoin, something like that. I do know that Decred is implementing a CoinJoin plus plus, and so obviously calling it CoinJoin, at least for them, isn't labeling them a privacy coin yet. Litecoin and the whole Mimblewimble thing they're trying to put in next year, no one really cares. It's not really Dash's original Dark Send. Terrible name, obviously. Awesome name, but terrible name, right? Just so fun to like, you could dark send this. Whoa, it's like so cool and like cypherpunk and all that stuff. Cyberpunk 20, whatever the 2077, whatever the thing is. Sorry for being a boomer. It's like private send sounds like a much more logical thing. Unfortunately, the P word has become like, like anonymous, right? Anonymous is like those evil terrorists, cyber terrorist people. Okay, that doesn't work. Private should be fine because private versus public, private property is a thing, right? Your private internet access, things privacy is a fundamental human right, I believe, and I think that the attitudes towards that are starting to kind of turn. Now the problem is like private send makes it seem like the problem is the privacy coin moniker, which now is just a thing. If it's a privacy coin, it's bad news. And therefore, private send makes it a privacy coin. Now, Bitcoin Cash is not a privacy coin somehow, because you can do some variants of CoinJoin on Bitcoin Cash, and they're in a lot of wallets. In fact, the Bitcoin.com wallet, which is let's be honest, the official Bitcoin Cash wallet. I mean, for all intents and purposes, is going to be adding that, and so they're not going to be suffering from any of this stuff. It's a stupid branding issue. So I have no problem rebranding it as long as it's not super confusing, because I'd rather change a name. The buck stops there as far as like limiting the technology to appease regulators. Yeah, screw that. I'm never doing that. But
yeah, I think you and me we're both on the same page on this, and I think in some ways it's a bit ironic because I'm sure we discussed this about 4 or 5 times on the podcast over the years, with our own personal thoughts. Because I remember, well, those that remember when Evan Duffield was around and he put his first pictures up, and it showed like what he envisioned as the wallet, and it had the first dApps as like the VPNs and everything else. It had a Dash balance, a saving balance. And I know we both agreed or found consensus with the digital cash option, because private send to me has always been digital cash. You have your Dash balance and you have your digital cash balance. And it is no different to fiat in that way. We say we have digital cash as our tagline, for Dash. So that really, for me, speaks leaps and bounds. Look, make no mistake, the Dash blockchain is public and transparent. But in terms of compliance and regulation, Dash should be given more preferential treatment than Bitcoin, because we scale on-chain, where a lot of their Lightning Network transactions are done off-chain. So they actually pose more of a risk on that regard. But like, I'm not going to bash Bitcoin, but if people are going to demonize Dash on that front, it's a level playing field, and where Bitcoin has the biggest network effect, they're going to open up the doors for us. They actually make our lives easier, because as they're getting more traction with institutionals and regulators are getting more aware of it, they explore what's available to them. And of course, CoinJoin comes up, right? So the more accustomed they come to that, the better it is for us actually in the long term, because where Dash is able to scale on chain as a supercharged version of Bitcoin, I really think that's going to play into our favor in the long term. It's just the private send is a marketing issue to a marketing problem. It's the name, not the technology, that holds us back. But we're having to time and again educate regulators, and it really is a grind right now. But
yeah,
we'll have to see.
So that's one thing that's obviously whatever gets regulators to go away really helps. But just from like a UX perspective as well, for the user experience, some people are talking about like super private, blah, blah, like, and like it's a better privacy coin than this, and this is better. Okay. We need a little bit of education on exactly what's going on with all of these things. Obviously, if you have a completely opaque blockchain that you can't analyze most of it at all, and everything is sent in like the minimum traceability stuff, like that's a completely different category than everything's open, transparent, and public, and you're breaking the linkage between some transactions, so people can't see how much money you have if you just buy a coffee, for example. Those are completely different kind of purposes. Now, you can, of course, cover your tracks really well and make sure you just kind of have this super, and like your whole existence with Dash is pretty much completely anonymous and untraceable. But that's like for the people that want to go through all that. But it's not so much like, well, privacy is a human right. It's like, okay, yes. Now, a minimum of financial privacy is a human right, and a minimum of financial privacy should not just be a human right, but just like the default. And so private send doesn't really do anything different. It sends, right? It just sends from stuff. And I like the idea of naming the balances different. Like you have a cash balance, for example, and you have I don't know what you call it, regular balance. I wouldn't even call it that, but I call it like a public balance or something. But whatever the naming thing, I would just get rid of the term to actual private send stuff. You're just sending from your cash balance. That's it. That's kind of where my head is at right now. There could be better tweaks and stuff, but I'd rather, instead of like you private send mix and then you private send, it's like, well, you're just sending your mixed funds basically. So why don't you just mix, mixed funds, unmixed, mixed versus unmixed, or public versus cash.
But we're going to have to bring back Mixing Monday.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. For me, it's the same thing. Like, I think a lot of people subscribe to Evan's idea of having like the saving account, and I think they envision that would be a possibility and feasible a lot sooner than it has been. But yeah, for me, as I've stated, digital cash for me is the same as changing like money. The money, yes, it has like a serial number on it, but in terms of exchanging from people to people, that they don't know the origin of it. And that's the same thing with digital cash. You're not going to ban physical notes, are you? And I don't subscribe to the money laundering thing, because the dollar is the biggest thing used for money laundering. In fact, the banks have been implicated the most with it for laundering money, even for criminal gangs, HSBC in Mexico and stuff. So I mean, like, I don't really think the regulators have a foot to stand on with that. But like I said, it's just education. These things take time. We're in a transitional phase. And look, we have to be honest with ourselves and look in the mirror. Look, even, you cut me in half, I bleed Dash, right? But the fact of the matter is, if you look at the total coin market cap,
which, by the way, a new really requested sticker, whole happy mark getting whacked in half and then Dash coming out.
But like, on a serious note, Dash only makes up 0.3% of the total coin market cap. So the regulators right now, their biggest concern really is Bitcoin and Ethereum and how this models, especially as institutionals and big companies are starting to diversify. It'll be interesting to see when we start seeing pension funds get involved and stuff as well. So the biggest thing that's going to happen next year, and I know this is probably going to upset a lot of people watching, but they've probably noticed an uptick on the regulatory side in terms of compliance. And believe you me, I'm not a fan of KYC AML, but in terms of AML, and people that are active on Twitter would have seen Andreas Antonopoulos and a few people talk about whispers on exchanges right now. Like there's going to be a new standard of AML next year, and things are going to get more cumbersome than easier, especially on the centralized exchanges. I was going to say CeFi, but I thought I'd better explain what I mean by that. But and of course, like everyone's talking about decentralized exchanges right now, and this has come up in the podcast after parties quite a few times. But they go hand in glove. Obviously, DeFi has had tremendous growth this year. But don't forget, CeFi, the centralized exchanges, actually act as a good onboarding mechanism for the fiat to crypto, and then the DeFi crypto to crypto. So you need a balancing act. You really do need both. But most importantly, I mean, the ultimate message to take away, which I'm sure everyone would have heard before, is not your keys, not your crypto. And the fear mongering that's going on now amongst Twitter is like certain exchanges at some point next year are going to lock in funds, and then you're going to be asked to prove the origin of them. So that's just something to be cautious and aware of. And I think some, in terms of biz dev, a lot of our partners are trying to stay compliant and ahead of the curve. So these are things that we need to be aware of. But there are actually, there's actually a lot of things happening on the regulation side right now. It's not my place to say right yet, but we're having some more legal paperwork done. And where the price has actually gone up, I've put some money aside of my budget for 2 industry reports, which will be based on the store of value aspects for Dash, but from an academic perspective.
Interesting.
And then also from the regulatory front, which will be really like a manifesto, like overview of everything going on with Dash. We already have so many external, documents that we've accumulated that make our case for us. Like I said, we have a solid track record. It's just getting in the room to educate them. But like this will really bring everything together. And we have 3 additional reports in the works right now from a big household name. And this is really going to add to that. And I think in some ways, even on the AML issue, I think it's actually going to put us ahead of the curve.
Interesting.
So I'm hoping those are going to be completed in the next month or 2. And the industry reports, because they're going to be of the academic nature and the distribution channels, I think this is probably one of the 2 biggest pain points in Dash right now. Is one is on the regulation front, and we need clarity. It's one thing us saying, "Oh, but Dash, here's our private send legal opinion and our position," but really, when you're dealing with regulators, especially in the legacy financial space that are dealing with the big tech space names and everything else, they only listen to the Deloittes of the world and the PwCs. You can't be coming from you. You have to have the resources. You have to have the format and digest that they're used to getting, right? They don't make decisions of e-entertainment articles, right? They make decisions of data and research and metrics and legal opinions. But the great news is that we've already have a lot of those, and we're having a few more. So I really think it's taking time, but we're putting ourselves in a very strong position. And once again, I just want to give thanks to, in particular, Omar and Glenn. I've been involved more, in this side, helping with the communication aspect, but there is so much work that goes into this. And I
Yeah.
hope people do appreciate that, because it's not easy work.
And this is something important to understand about regulators and regulating, especially in the modern world, especially in what were called free countries, but that's a different debate, is they can't, no government, I don't think, is under the delusion, at least maybe like a North Korea type place. But other than that, none of them are under the delusion that they're going to get 100% compliance. They're going to get 100% of their citizen base paying their taxes as they should. They're going to be able to do that. And obviously, it's a law of diminishing returns at some point when you start chasing after like every random, hobo who just doesn't, didn't file or did something weird like that. What they try to go after is like the big fish and stuff. And so crypto is not the cat's out of the bag. It's not going away. It's just there. It's only growing. It's there to stay. And that includes crypto the way we're used to using it, which is, peer to peer, making our own coins from scratch just for fun to figure things out, compiling our own wallets from scratch, VPNs, Tor, ITP, all that kind of stuff. Like that world is not ever going away. And I don't think the regulators ever, can basically fool themselves into thinking it goes away. They want to be able to bust a few big, like drug dealers, predators, whatever it is. But also the big thing, they just want to get the normies, the fiat to crypto stuff, the people who are buying a bunch of crypto and then they're selling on exchanges. Like they want to get their piece of the tax pie from that. That's just obviously, that's my opinion on this thing from having basically seen how they operate. But it's not like you're never going to be able to use this kind of stuff. They're going to criminalize, regular old usage and stuff like that. No, but it's just that fiat corridor. Now that of course brings to it brings up the point of, if you use crypto like I do, if you're just using Dash every day, every other day, whatever, sending peer to peer, using it as money, paying your stuff in it, that's all in like a closed Dash Loop ecosystem, and it just flows. You just don't really have to worry about it. And I highly doubt many regulators are going to put a lot of time and effort to even looking into that world. Just that the fiat world, when it hits there, they're going to be like, well, where did you get it from? But like they already do that with cash, don't they? And you still pay your gardener or whoever with cash. You still pay your buddy with the cash. You still don't write anything down, and no one really cares. And so if that, basically I can imagine it being like that kind of a system. The clandestine Craigslist cash system is only going to intensify under crypto. And that doesn't mean though that regulators won't kind of crack down. And I should point out that there are non-Dash Core Group developments on the Dash privacy front. There's the WW4D, which isn't a WD-40, is a little oil can spray. It's a Wasabi wallet for Dash, is the first port of a more advanced Bitcoin CoinJoin wallet for Dash that's being, basically they got their first build working on testnet or whatever. There's some great community developers working on that and some other things. So even in the event where, for some reason, private send is like not included in any of the newer products. I mean, of course, the full node stuff, right? But as far as it's not being included in the mobile ones for like years or something, there's other people working on other stuff. So you'll always have something to do.
Absolutely. And you just reminded me of something. If it's not posted today, it will be in the next few coming days. There will be a Dash blog post from Quantum Explorer, who's working on the DashPay app. And there's been a lot of interesting new innovations and code that's been on the GitHub on the dip side that he was involved in writing. And he's basically debriefed it all and got rid of the technical jargon, and he tries to make it as objective as possible. It's very extensive and lengthy, but it's worthwhile, and it really shows you the extent of how much hard work and grit that the devs are actually putting into this, the lines of codes. I was blown away just learning about Platform, because it uses a custom version of Tendermint, but like we've got so many, like literally thousands of lines of custom code. So it's not, it's not even the same thing anymore.
Yeah, of course.
It's its own thing. It's become its own thing. So I mean, honestly, it's really amazing. And once that comes out, I hope even for the less tech savvy on the developer side, it will fill in a lot of the blank gaps and explain actually how these things are made possible actually on the DashPay app, those functions that we all want and crave. So yes, look forward to that. And all I can say is, again, like, please do, if you have not done so, sign up to the alpha program on dash.org/dashpay.
And I'm the desert links on that, so please go there and send me some fake money, and I'll send you some fake money back. We did get one more live chat thing here. 69 cents. It's not $69, but to Mark's beard again. Regarding mainnet Evo, does Mark think it'll come out before or after Mt. Gox's creditor resolution? Best guess.
Oh my
that's
God.
a little bit of a diss.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Dashcore Group, they know this better than anyone else. And like I said, it was very insightful being in those meetings and looking at their project management process, because, you're bringing all these teams together and they're coordinating and they're all reliant on each other. And it's an exciting time. Do I think mainnet is definitely going to happen next year without a shadow of a doubt, right?
Yes.
Because they're going to be modular updates. Whether it does all bells and whistles, look, I can tell you that I'm planning for the mainnet launch. So like, this is going to be it. Now, in terms of like testnet, there are things that like we don't know, right? There are things that can go bump in the night when it comes to bugs, security, making things robust before we go to mainnet. Of course, for Dashcore Group, they want everything to be, it's going to be pretty bare bones from their side. I think on the mainnet launch and the things, but the exciting thing for us on the retail user side is the show and tell, the gallery, what the community devs are building with it, and the dApps that come with it. And as Joel referred to earlier, there's some really exciting community projects already. Mm-hmm. And please stay tuned for next week, because I'm hoping to get some coverage on one of those community projects that I think will be of interest to many people, especially if you like gaming. That's all I will say, and how Dash platforms integrate in and can do some really cool stuff with that. So please do wait. And there should be a community video going out as well after that as well.
Yeah. And I should point out, in 2 weeks' time, there will be not the last Dash podcast of the year, but the first of the new year on the new year. And I'm still figuring out exactly what I'm going to do for that one, but trust me, it'll be a good one. I might do just like a 2-hour long one, just to piss off Grandmaster Dash, or no, just to get all the goodness out. So we're speaking of which, we're like an hour and a half in. We should probably get this thing wrapped up. But where would you like to direct people? I would probably say the sticker page and the alpha sign up page. Those two places, right?
Yeah, I mean, if it's not live on the dash.org brand guidelines page by now, it will be in the companies. But I'll make a social media post notifying you about the Giphy page and also the sticker set, and the Telegram sticker set I still need to create, and I need to add the emojis to Discord as well. Mm-hmm. I was just holding it back because I wanted to save it for your podcast to let the community know. I know it's only like a little thing, but I just wanted to get it out before Christmas.
It's a lot of excitement, though.
Yeah, it's all good fun, and I really do hope the community utilize these, whether it's just adding the stickers onto charts or whatever. And like, please do feel free to make requests as well on things that you would like to see. And I just want to give my sincere thanks to the community and the masternodes for your continued support. I couldn't continue my operations without you, and obviously I work hand in glove with Dashcore Group. I'm dependent on the development work and biz dev and their kind of, their megaphone, so to speak. So, things are going really well. I'm optimistic for the new year. Let's see what happens with marketing. But yeah, please keep an eye open for upcoming proposals to build up the war chest. I've already got a few quotes for some ideas, because I'm expecting COVID still going to be an issue next year. So in terms of live events and distribution, I can't wait to report those to the community. But next year it's all in, go big or go home, and I don't want to disappoint.
Well, absolutely. Well, hey, guess what, guys? We just hit 800 subscribers, so thank you for the 2 people that subscribed to the channel since we started. Woohoo! Good time. Anyway, I haven't worn these in a while, but I have them on the desk, so might as well. Thanks everyone for watching. It's going to be 2 weeks from today. Another fantastic episode. Thanks everyone for donating, jumping in the live chat, all that stuff. It was a dashy good time. That's for sure. So if you have Dash, you should be spending it. And if you want to spend it, you can use Bitrefill. And if you sign up with the code DCN, that helps me out. And that's going to be a fantastic time. Now, always share and subscribe, comment, like, all those things. And there's an audio-only version on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts, on Pandora, everywhere, in case you just like that. I do some audio-only stuff there that the video version is sometimes shorter or like half as long on some of these episodes. So go there. Anyway, now it's time for the fantastic thing we call the after party, which is just like this, except a whole lot less serious, not recorded, not live, and just shooting the shit until the wee hours of the morning. And the way you get there, you have to go to the actual Dash Talk Discord and ask around. And the way you get in there, what's the URL for that? I think I forgot.
It's staydashy.com.
All right. How could I forget? You go there, start asking around, and someone will put you in. And yeah, it'll be a jolly good time. I haven't said it in a long time, but what was the jingle or the...
Stay positive, stay humble, but most importantly, stay dashy.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Merry Dashmas.